Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and today we're going to be going over the all-new 2019 Subaru Legacy Sport. So as always, we're going to do a quick walk around on the car, then we're going to take it out to see how it drives. And a big shout out and thank you to Mark Miller Subaru here in Midtown for providing us with the Legacy to review today. If you are on the market for a new Subaru, definitely check these guys out. Under the hood here we have a naturally aspirated 2.5 liter horizontally opposed 4-cylinder. That is all routed through a CVT automatic transmission. In terms of fuel economy, it's going to be good for 25 around town and then 34 on the highway. Power outputs for this engine are going to be 175 horsepower and then 174 pound-feet of torque. So this exterior color is iced silver metallic, and you can see in the sunlight it looks fantastic. And just because of the different body lines of the Subaru, you can see that it looks like almost a different color just depending on how the light hits it. We can see we've got some accent lighting just around the projector bulbs. Turn signals right there on the whole cluster, and then you can see there's fog lights just down below. We've got some chrome accents all throughout to kind of match the Subaru logo up front, and then since this is the sport trim, they kind of like will black out that part of the grille. And then you can see they've got like a faux front splitter design going on. The Subarus do that. It makes them look a lot more aggressive in general, but I just like that design cue that they do. Now around the side here we have two 25mm tires in the front and in the rear, with 18-inch alloy rims, and you can see the design they do it again. So we've got blacked out accents, but then we also have kind of like the chrome inserts on it, so you notice that that will be kind of like a key characteristic on this sport package. Here is the key fob for the Legacy. So you can see we've got a couple different functions. We've got our lock and unlock, and then you have your trunk release. So basically if you just hold that down, that will unlock the trunk, and then you just have to walk up to it and then pick it up fully, and then that will pop right open. You can see storage space in here is ample. You can see it goes all the way back, and you actually can fold down those rear seats if you would like. All the floor mats are going to be back here in normal Subaru fashion actually, and then we can open this all up. So this is where your jack and all of that are going to be, and then if you want to put a fix-a-flat kit back there, you can as well. Now in the rear here, we can see that we've got the whole light cluster back here, and then you can see that you've got the Subaru symmetrical all-wheel drive badging on the back, and then you've got the Legacy badging just on the other side, and then it is a singular exhaust tip for that 2.5 liter 4-cylinder, and then you can see they kind of do some little things hanging off to be like a mini rear diffuser in the back, which I think is another neat design cue. Now if we come around to the back here, we can open up the door panel in the rear. You can see that we've got some nice black trim here at the top. They've got all wrapped up since it's a brand new car, and they've got some cloth trim here on the side. It's actually pretty soft to the touch with some stitching. I like the blue contrast stitching that they have here, and then you've got the black leather, and then when you look at the seats, they're going to be kind of a mix. So you can see you've got some leather bolsters on the side with more of that blue stitching, and then cloth inserts, so the middle of the seats will stay neutral temperature wise. And then you can see we've got some charging stations in the back, and if we actually pull this little thing out here, we can see that there's some cup holders in the rear of the Legacy, and then leg space is plentiful. So if we come around to the front, we got keyless entry, so one touch to lock it, and then you just have to put your hand on the back of the door handle, and that will unlock the door. And then we can see the whole door panel here for the front side, and it's going to have more of that same cloth trim with the blue stitching, and then you can see the black leather with the blue stitching again. All of your mirror controls and window controls are going to be right there in that area, and then we've got more of the black trim just above right there. On the seat side of things, we've got full power adjustment here on these seats, and then again, same bolsters with the blue stitching, black leather, and then you've got the cloth insert in the middle. And you can see the seats have these nice bolsters so they can hold you into place, but they are wider so it's still comfortable to sit in. And then just down below here, we can see the whole pedal layout of the Legacy, and then there's a bunch of buttons up here for controls for different things. So to turn on or off the blind spot monitoring, stability control, the lane departure assistance, forward collision warning, and that's your trunk release. So if you notice, the Legacy, even in the sport package here, has a ton of safety technology, and then the steering wheel is manually adjustable. Now to start the Legacy, after you just put your foot on the brake and push the push start. Gauges will do a sweep very, very quickly. Subaru is kind of known for that. Now here is the steering wheel on the Legacy, and you've got the Subaru logo in the center, and then it's got some nice leather on the outside with more of that blue stitching, which I actually really, really like that stitching. But we can see we've got our adaptive cruise control and then your regular cruise control on this side of the steering wheel, and then that's also for your lane departure, basically to keep you in the center of the lane. And then we have all of our Bluetooth voice command controls over here with your phone controls, and then we've got these little buttons here for the center menu right there. So note that you can kind of scroll through a couple different menus with the vehicle, so just give you a bunch of different information. and then I'll scroll through the menus for you guys so you can see those in general. But since we're over here on the gauges anyways, you can see the tachometer over on the left-hand side, and then the speedo on the right-hand side. Then, like I said, that little touch screen, or not touch screen, sorry, that little screen in the middle that kind of lets you scroll through some different menus on the car. Here is the whole touchscreen interface here in the Legacy. So they give you some analog buttons on the side that you can see here, and as you can see, they are very responsive buttons. They need the analog control buttons for like the volume and then changing the station. But you can see that the buttons are really responsive, and then the touchscreen is really responsive too. And they actually have a ton of space on this touchscreen. So if you're one of those people that likes to add applications to your car, they have a ton of space left over for that. But really responsive touchscreen, really easy to use in general. And then if we pop it into reverse, you can see the backup camera system will pop up. And then there are parking sensors with this whole system, but you can see as I turn the steering wheel, the trajectory lines will turn with that. Now here are all of our controls for the climate control system. So it is a dual zone climate in this sport package here, and then you do get heated seat controls as well. And then if we look just down below here, we've got some extra little storage with a bunch of charging stations in that area. I've got kind of like all these little storage cubbies, cup holders right here. This is for your parking brake system, and then this is your shifter for that CVT automatic transmission. There is a manual shift mode, and that's why I didn't mention a function on the steering wheel. If you do want to shift the gears yourself, you can shift them with these little paddle shifters. There's a minus button to go down a gear, and then there's a plus button to go up a gear. And then we've got our whole center console set up here, more of that blue stitching, and we can open this up. So they get you a little storage tray on the top, and then you get extra storage underneath here, and then you can see that it is lined with felt, and there's a little 12-volt outlet. And while we're talking about storage, let's go over to the glove box. Before we go into the glove box, you can see the dash, more soft touch with some blue contrasted stitching. And if we actually open up the glove box, fully lined with felt, this is where you can find all of your owner's manual, all of that information. But it's a pretty large size glove box for a car of this size. We've got our little sunglass holder up in this area, and then this does come with a sunroof, so that'll let a little bit of extra light into the cabin. So it's just a manual shade basically, but then you've got the whole control system for the sunroof just up in this area with all those light controls. Now, wrapping things up on this sport package, I'm actually very impressed, especially with the price point that this is at. So this one stickers for less than $30,000, and with all of the safety tech that this comes with, the all-wheel drive and Subaru reliability, it is an absolute bargain. That all being said, let's take the 2019 Legacy Sport out to see how it drives. So as you can see, we are setting off in the 2019 Subaru Legacy, and so far it drives super smooth, just like all the other Subarus. So let's talk about the steering feel first and foremost, especially since we're coming up to a stop here. So you can see that the steering is really direct with the Legacy. It just goes right where you want it to go, just placement wise. And while we're fully stopped here, let's talk about visibility. So you can see the visibility over the hood is really good. It just abruptly ends, and because of that flat 4 engine, it allows the engine to be lower down in the car and allows the hood to be lower, so not to be super raised up or anything like that. And then you can see visibility throughout both of the mirrors is really solid as well, and I should adjust that other mirror so you can actually see out of it. My bad. And then you can see visibility throughout the back. Super solid. This does come with blind spot monitoring as well, so it's going to help out on the visibility aspect of things. Now let's talk about road noise and ride quality. So ride quality is exceptionally smooth. There's not a whole lot of road noise coming through, so you can see that this road isn't the smoothest, and it is just going over everything excellently. So very comfortable car to drive. You could drive it on a daily basis, no problem. So let's get a little acceleration here with the Legacy to see how it performs. Yeah, so you can see acceleration on it is more than adequate. With the Legacy, that 2.5 liter 4-cylinder has more than enough power. So while we're stopped here, let's sum things up on the Legacy. If you're looking for something that's very safe because it has all the safety tech, super reliable as well, very comfortable, you could drive on a daily basis, you can drive in all sorts of weather conditions because of that symmetrical all-wheel drive system, then Subaru in general is a good brand to check out, and this Legacy Sport is definitely a solid offering. So if you're on the market for that type of car, definitely check out one of the Legacies. And there we have it, the all-new 2019 Legacy Sport. Thank you everyone so much for watching, and again, a big shout out and thank you to Mark Miller Subaru here in Midtown, Utah for providing us with the vehicle. If you're on the market for new Subaru, definitely check these guys out. They will hook you up. If you are stopping for the first time, I would really appreciate it if you would subscribe, comment down below what you thought, and then I will see all of you in that next video.